My name is Ben Nemzer and I'm a magician. One of my specialties is close-up magic, which is magic with ordinary objects, decks of cards, ropes, rubber bands, and I do that all over New York City. I'm going to teach you some of the basics of magic that you guys can start performing right away. This is the King, Queen, Jacks, and Aces trick. Let me show you how it goes. It comes with a neat little story. Once upon a time, there were 4 kings. They were traveling around, and it started to rain, thunder and lightning, so they all checked in to the nearest hotel. Now, of course, their wives who were out shopping wanted to come join. They were getting all wet, so they came and they joined the kings in the hotel. Now, these queens, while they were out, they met 4 men, and without asking their husbands, they invited them to come into the dry hotel. All of them happened to be named Jack as well. Now these Jacks, without asking the queens, who didn't even bother asking the kings, invited in 4 aces. Now, because there was thunder and lightning in the hotel room, all the lights went out because there was a blackout and nobody could see anything. Would you help me out and cut the cards anywhere you like? Perfect. And do that again for me. And one last time, anywhere you like. Perfect. Thank you very much. Then, when the lights went back on, after everybody was scrambling around, it just so happened that the queens ended up with the queens. The jacks ended up with the jacks. The aces ended up with the aces, and the kings ended up with the kings. Now let me show you how this trick works. This is actually a lot of fun because it's what we call a self-working card trick. You heard me right. The trick works all by itself. And I'll show you how it works. You start off by making 4 piles, the kings, the queens, the jacks, and the aces, and you pull that out of any ordinary deck of 52 playing cards. And you arrange them so you put down all the kings, the queens go on top, the jacks go on top of that, and the aces go on top of that. All the cards face up, and then you turn them over. So now we have kings, queens, jacks, and aces. Now the cool thing is, because the trick works all by itself, all you have to do is deal them out in rows. And you can make up any story you like. This is the story I originally heard it with, but it's great if you're doing this trick at a school. They can come into 4 classrooms. If you're doing it for a company or a corporation, you can do it for your friends. You can tailor the story to anything that you like. So here's what you do. You deal out the 4 kings in a row. When you take out the queens for the next part of the story, you want to put them on top of the kings about halfway down. This is going to make it easier to pick up the cards later on so that they don't get mixed up. Then the jacks go a little further down, and the aces also halfway on top of the jacks. So remember, you're dealing the cards in a row, not down in columns, but straight in rows. Then you take this entire pile and put it on top of this ace, which is actually keeping all the cards in order. And if you do this kind of haphazardly, it almost looks like you're not paying attention and they're being mixed up. You don't really need to convince people, but you also don't want to make it look too meticulous. Then the cards can be cut as many times as you like. If the cards are shuffled, it ruins the entire trick. But as long as the cards are cut, that means you take some from the top and move them to the bottom. Maybe it's 1 card, maybe it's all but a couple cards, but they can be cut as many times as you like. If I have 3 people watching, I'll let each person take a turn. If I have 4 people watching, I'll let all 4 take a turn. Once there's too many people, maybe you only let the cards get cut 3 times. Then you deal out the cards in a row again, not straight down in columns, but in rows. And you never know what the first card is going to be, but you do know if you deal them out in rows, they'll all line up. And I always say the jacks ended up with the jacks, the aces ended up with the aces, the kings with the kings, and you say it almost like it's the same every time. And that's the secret to the kings, queens, jacks, aces trick. It just works all by itself.